Did you know that we have covered 13 different units this year? Well, if not, you're going to find out today. Let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and today we are going to review everything that we've covered during this school year. It's been a great year filled with lots and lots of U.S. history. So, what do you say? Let's get started. We started the year with our historical skills, or historiography unit, where we learned about the different sources, primary and secondary. We looked at different accounts of Nat Turner's rebellion, and we drew our own conclusions based on the evidence presented to us, right? So now that we got the ball rolling, let's move into our next unit, which was exploration. Why were people exploring? We talked went all the way back to the Protestant Reformation, and then all the European powers coming over to the New World. We learned about the conquistadors. We learned about Spanish Florida history, and then that leads into English North American history because of the 13 colonies, right? History books are always written by the winners, and England won what is now the United States, so that's why our main focus is on them. So then we moved into Colonial America. Colonial America, we talked about the three regions, New England, Middle, Southern, and the different ways of life and everything that went with that. We talked about how those colonists really set the stage moving forward, because after the French and Indian War, things got a little dicey, right? And that leads to our Road to Revolution unit, which that covers, all of the stuff that happened after the French and Indian War, all the different acts and taxes. Look at my video for British acts, right? That then leads to the huge event, the American Revolution. After the American Revolution, or in the American Revolution, we learned about the key battles and how America used the French and Spanish allies and how we beat the British and won our independence. After the Revolutionary War comes our More Perfect Union unit, which covered Constitutional America, which was the Constitutional Convention, all the compromises that were made between the North and the South that finally came up with a document that we still have in power today. From there, we go into the Federalist presidents, Washington and Adams. And then we go into Jefferson's presidency. We talked about these first three presidents because of all the things going on. We have like the Northwest Territory. We have the Judiciary Acts. We have the XYZ affair and the Alien and Sedition Acts. We have Jefferson with his Louisiana Purchase and Marbury v. Madison. So much happening in these first three presidents' terms. Then after Jackson, we move into Manifest Destiny and then Jacksonian Democracy. Manifest Destiny being the territorial acquisitions for the United States to go from sea to shining sea, all the way from the Atlantic to the Pacific, right? And then from Manifest Destiny, we learned about Jacksonian Democracy that kind of got thrown in there. Obviously, the nullification crisis over the Tariff Act, South Carolina threatening to secede, foreshadowing, right? And then from Jacksonian Democracy, we talked about the North and the South. We learned about the Age of Reform. We talked about the social reforms, from the Second Great Awakening, the temperance movement to temperance. And then from temperance, we go into the different education reform, prison reform. We had the abolitionist movement, right? Because that's all building into the compromises, such as the Missouri Compromise we learned about. We learned about the Compromise of 1850. We learned about the Kansas-Nebraska Act. All of these compromises trying to keep the nation from splitting over the issue of slavery. But then all of that comes to a head with our Civil War unit. Our Civil War unit, we learned about why, we learned about how, we learned about the basic what happened, but more importantly, we learned why everything happened and how those events still impact us today, and how our country, led into Reconstruction, our last unit, which always kind of gets forgotten, but always squeezed in at that last moment where we came up with those big Reconstruction amendments, 13, 14, and 15, right? Those are going to come back to, again and again through your civics career, right, and the rest of your history career. So know those Reconstruction amendments, and then that's it. Oh my goodness, that was just a couple minutes, but man, what a fun-filled, but a full year of history. And I know that I have not had enough time to go into great detail over every little thing this year. So I hope, and my fervent hope, is that I've instilled at least a little bit of curiosity and hopefully some piqued your interest enough that you'll want to go deeper into any of these topics as you move throughout your life, okay? Obviously, I have other videos on this channel that cover these topics in a little bit in varying range of detail, but take it upon yourself, find out this information, because at the middle school level where I'm covering this, I can only go so deep. But man, if I just piqued your curiosity enough to dig deeper yourself, this has been a success. So as I put out videos, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get the notifications. If that button's red, let's turn it gray. And don't forget to hit that like button for me so YouTube knows to promote this with everyone, because that's how the word gets spread. And don't forget to check out these other videos like the ones you see to the side over here. Check out all my history videos, even the ones in 360. All right, I know you're going to like them, so do yourselves a favor and check them out. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. I'll see you next time.